What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Aljamain Sterling reacts to lack of trash talk from Sean O'Malley. With UFC 292 rapidly approaching next month, bantamweight champion Aljamain Sterling thinks that his opponent, Sugar Sean O'Malley, would be piling on the trash talk by now. Recently, O'Malley took to social media to tease the champion by informing him that he's eating steak for dinner less than a month out from their fight, alluding to Sterling's frustration with making the short notice cut to 135 pounds again after his clash with Henry Cejudo. The way the champion sees things, the comment was a half-hearted attempt at trash talking, something he believes stems from O'Malley's fear of losing. During a recent video for his YouTube channel, the Funkmaster reacted to the lack of trash talk from O'Malley, a fighter who famously dyed his hair in the color of the Ecuadorian flag prior to his fight with Chito Vera.
From Conor McGregor, reincarnated, oh my goodness, someone please save us all. I think he's afraid. I think Sean jumped into my cage barking and bit off more than he can chew. And that's my honest assessment. I think now he's kind of nervous about having to eat his own words, so he doesn't want to say anything that he's going to actually regret saying because he thinks people are going to make fun of him.
With the fight rapidly approaching on August 19th, it'll be interesting to see whether the trash talk begins to ramp up leading up to the fight, or if the two keep things respectful for the most part. Alexander Volkanovski drops BMF title fight prediction. Fight week is currently underway for the UFC's highly anticipated return to Salt Lake City, where Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier will compete in a highly anticipated bout for the BMF title. As anticipation continues to build for the fight, the MMA community has continued to give their predictions for how they see things playing out. One fighter who is keeping a close eye on the bout is featherweight kingpin Alexander Volkanovski, who is eager to return to 155 pounds in the future. During a video for his YouTube channel, the champion gave his thoughts on the fight, predicting,
"So I'm going to have to go towards Dustin to win this one. I think he's got more ways of winning. I can see him actually getting a submission, maybe hurting him, a little bit of a scramble, maybe getting a finish, even though Gaethje's got that wrestling. But I mean, as he's hurt, I feel like that could happen."
With Gaethje eager to show that he's evolved as a fighter since coming up short against Charles Oliveira, and Poirier eager to show that he's still one of the best fighters at 155 pounds, the community remains split in regards to who they think gets the job done. Leading up to the bout, Poirier spoke to reporters, weighing in on the new and improved Gaethje while cautioning the highlight against taking his time and being patient.
I think his best chances are to catch me being crazy and landing a shot. If he tries to take his time and be methodical, I'm going to show you levels for sure.
While the MMA community has continued to discuss the nuances of the fight, jokes have continued to pour in after ESPN personality Stephen A. Smith claimed that people are anticipating Poirier taking the fight to the ground while interviewing the two main event fighters this week.
Justin, when people look at you, they see a knockout artist. When they think about Dustin going up against you, they're anticipating and they're predicting he'll go to the ground game because the ground game he'll have an advantage, particularly with jiu-jitsu.
With just days to go until the highly anticipated rematch takes place, the former BMF has made it clear that he hopes Poirier wins the fight, given the fact that the two men have trained together. For Justin Gaethje, that sounds like it's a bit of extra motivation. He spoke to reporters this week to discuss the situation, saying,
"Yeah, I want to make him do it. Yeah, that'll be nice.
Who do you think?
I know he'll hate it, so I'll love it that much more."
Alex Pereira opens up on move to light heavyweight. With just days to go until former two-division Glory kickboxing champion Alex Pereira steps into the octagon for the first time at 205 pounds, many fans are eager to see how he handles a former champion in Jan Blachowicz. While many fear that he's making too quick of a return to the octagon, given that he was knocked out by Israel Adesanya just over 3 months ago, Poatan believes that the timing was right for him to make the jump up in weight. Ahead of the scrap, he spoke with media members about his light heavyweight debut. "Everything is going according to the plan. Since my last fight in the locker room, we already started talking about what's going to happen. It's not that the organization forced me to fight Jan Blachowicz. We just took the fight we thought was going to be a good fight. Everything happens naturally." Considering Jamal Hill recently vacated his title, it seems as though the winner of this fight could find themselves right in the mix for a title fight with Yuri Prochazka. UFC fight updates. This week, 3 bouts were reportedly added to upcoming cards. Without further ado, let's jump right in. First up on the calendar, we have a clash between Nasrat Haqparast and Sam Patterson, set for September 2nd at UFC Paris. The bout will see Haqparast look to build momentum on a win over John Makdessi last September. while Patterson looks to bounce back from a loss to Yanal Ashmouz back in March. Next up on the calendar, we have a clash between Jamie Mullarkey and John Makhachev, added to UFC 293 on September 9th. The bout will see Mullarkey look to bounce back after being finished by Muhammad Naimov last month, while Makhachev looks to bounce back from a September loss to Nasrat Haqparast. Last but certainly not least, we have a clash between Daniel Zellhuber and Christos Giagos set for September 16th at Noche UFC, the promotion's card celebrating Mexican Independence Day. The fight will see Zellhuber look to keep momentum rolling after picking up his first promotional win back in April, while on the flip side, Giagos will be looking to build on an April KO win over Ricky Glenn. Before we continue, make sure you give that like button some love, and be sure to subscribe to the MMA Zone for all of the latest news. Paulo Costa and Khamzat Chimaev trade barbs. Popular middleweights Paulo Costa and Khamzat Chimaev appear to be on a collision course for UFC 294 in October. Although Costa stated that he signed the contract and things are finalized leading up to the fight, he feels as though his opponent doesn't truly want to compete. During a recent appearance on the MMA Hour, Costa spoke about the fight, saying,
"I want that fight so bad, a lot. I want a lot that fight. Dana wants a lot that fight. The audience wants that fight, but not Chimaev. Chimaev doesn't want that fight. So he tried hard, get another guys to fight. Leon Edwards, Belal Muhammad, Usman. He called all these guys desperate to fight him, and only the guys on the division." But
for his part, Chimaev was quick to fire back on Twitter with a photo of himself looking absolutely shredded while warning Costa that he was coming for him, before then posting a meme of the former middleweight challenger in a separate tweet. Fortunately for fans, it sounds as though there's no reason to worry, and the fight between the two will go down as planned in October. Michael Chandler gives update on Conor McGregor fight. Although Conor McGregor's longtime manager Adi Attar recently stated that the Irish superstar will in fact go through the mandatory 6 months of testing prior to returning to the octagon, there's been no word on when the former 2-division champion will re-enter the USADA testing pool. Despite that, fellow Ultimate Fighter coach Michael Chandler recently gave an update on the negotiations for the fight during a video for his YouTube channel.
And now I am scheduled to fight Conor if he gets his stuff together and we figure out when that fight is going to happen. But don't worry, some talks are happening. The fight is happening for sure. We just don't know when, what month, what date, or even at what weight, but we'll see.
Although the update doesn't exactly inspire a lot of confidence, both sides have maintained that the fight will happen. When and where it takes place, only time will tell. Update on Jorge Masvidal's legal case. While the one and only Jorge Masvidal is currently gearing up to wrap the belt around the waist of the winner of this weekend's BMF title fight, his attorney was representing him in Miami-Dade County Court, where he's facing 2 felony charges of battery and criminal mischief after allegedly attacking Colby Covington last year outside of a steakhouse. The hearing reportedly lasted less than a minute, with Judge James granting a continuance until October 25th as state prosecutors analyzed medical evaluations of Covington. Previously, it had been reported that Masvidal and his attorney were nearing a settlement. However, no deal has been finalized. Assuming the case goes to trial, the start date will be November 6th. Stay tuned for updates as they become available. And now for our breaking news story of the day. We have the MMA community exposing Khamzat Chimaev. Recently on Twitter, a picture surfaced of Khamzat looking absolutely jacked, and fans had some speculation on why he's been sitting out for a year. Here's what they had to say about the situation. Year-long suspension for juicing wasn't enough, huh? Definitely had a quiet suspension. This is the guy who apparently used to train at the gym 4 times a day last year, but all of a sudden he's found a way to build a load of muscle. Do you think Khamzat got suspended for a year for using steroids? Let us know in the comments below. Joe Rogan goes off on MMA Commission. When discussing the greatest fighters of all time, Khabib Nurmagomedov's unblemished record goes a long way when arguing his case for a spot in the debate. Although Jon Jones technically isn't undefeated, it's widely accepted that Jones has never truly lost a fight, given that the one loss on his record stems from a disqualification. During a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, the longtime commentator took aim at commissions for making 12-6 elbows illegal, when in reality, they don't do any more damage than regular elbows on the ground.
It's really tough to argue that he's not the greatest of all time. Undefeated as a light heavyweight, had one defeat that was a disqualification that's 100% bullshit. Okay. But it's literally because the athletic commissions that were sanctioning MMA initially, they said, we've seen those things on ESPN where people break bricks with their elbows. You can't do that. It's too dangerous.
Although members of the MMA community have long condemned the archaic rule, there appears to be no signs of reform on the horizon.